Good afternoon, and welcome back to Innovation in Agriculture, Energy, and Opportunity Zones Summit 2020, Day 2, and engage in a continuous afternoon filled with amazing information that has started off this morning with Angela Washington from MBDA and Dr. Venus Welch White talking about opportunities for MBEs and HBCUs. In this session, we are excited to have a professional moderator, and his name is probably known um, in squares around the country, if not internationally, because of who he is, Jose Nino. Jose Nino will be moderating this panel with PJ Haney, who was on yesterday, CEO of Haney Farms Consulting and owner, principal manager for Haney Farms, a fifth generation farmer, and Jean Robert Bagady, Capital Access Team Lead, Office of Business Development, Minority Business Development Agency. Gentlemen, it is my pleasure to put you all together so that you can have a very robust, mission-driven Day 2 conversation on behalf of Black and Brown farmers. Jose, it's my pleasure to introduce to the public square at large here at our second day of our historic summit. I want to give some background of Jose Nino, because over the past 30 years, he's built a national and international business development company. His company, El Nino Group, LLC, has a long and productive history of growing and serving as the primary connection in establishing partnerships, opportunities for business development, certifications, and strategic planning for clients. We thank Jose Nino for being not only the chairman of BioFriendly, one of our sponsors for this two-day historic summit, but he's also the co-founder of Allied Wireless Infrastructure Services, a Hispanic-owned neutral digital infrastructure service company. AWIS is a wireless and small cell infrastructure, dark fiber network, edge micro data center, and management service company. AWIS services the North American market with offices located in Florida, New York, Washington, D.C., Mexico City, and Querétaro, Mexico. Last year, Jose assisted Microtech, based in Vienna, Virginia, to obtain a $50 billion IDIQ. That's 50 billion with a B, government-wide contract, along with 9 other companies. This agreement has everything to do with re-infrastructure of the U.S. government's telecom and IT systems. Mr. Nino has many years of experience working with entrepreneurs, federal government corporations in the U.S. and Hispanic and other ethnic communities, as well as in Latin America. Mr. Nino was founding member and president and CEO of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. He expanded the chamber from less than 30 chambers to over now 258, representing the interest of more than 1.3 million U.S. Hispanic-owned businesses. The U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce provided the climate to foster more businesses and more customers by building the brand, advancing programs for scalable, sustained growth. The U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is now a significant force within the U.S. economy, promoting the economic growth and development of Hispanic entrepreneurs nationwide. Of all those accolades and accomplishments, Mr. Nino is chairman of the Mid-Atlantic Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, a board member of U.S. Mexico Chamber of Commerce, an advisory member for Hispanics in Energy, and serves as the National Executive Committee of the Boy Scouts of America. He's the executive director for One World Literacy Foundation. He's also a University of Maryland graduate, and most of all, he's a father and a grandfather of 6, and a former Small Business Advisory Board member of the Chicago Federal Reserves. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to hand over in rightful, capable hands, Jose Nino to moderate your next panel with PJ Haney and Jean Robert Baggedy from MBDA. Thank you so much and enjoy this very robust session.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you very much. And wow, I didn't know I did all those things.
You did.
uh, but I welcome everybody to this particular session. It is exciting. Minority business and agriculture, resources and opportunity. And we have some great folks with us today that will be able to help us in understanding what we're doing. Sean Robert Fegedy, Capital Access Team Lead for the Office of Business Development for the Minority Business Development Agency for the U.S. Department of Commerce. Welcome to you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Phil Haney, the third CEO of Haney Farms, also the chairman for the National Black Growers Council. Welcome. I'm excited to be here with you. I look forward to hearing from both of you, as is everybody else. We do have tremendous growth in our communities across America, and in this pandemic, we have to even fight even harder to not only survive but to grow at the same time. And how do we do that? Well, Jean Robert, you're on line first because you have the access, to capital. And whether it was 100 years ago, 200 years ago, yesterday, all business are always looking for access to capital. Right? Even the United States of America, when it was first formed, was seeking access to capital because at that time, no one would give us credit. So we had to go out and find access to capital so that we could get someone to lend us the money to move the economy of this country. So please.
Yes,
John Robert, go ahead.
Thank you very, very much. That statement is 100% accurate, and it still lies true today. So, yes, access to capital, we know, is the number one impediment to the growth of small businesses, all businesses, and so we at MBDA know how important that is to help move the needle forward. Unfortunately, we don't have loan programs. We do give grants to specific organizations once a year. However, that doesn't stop us from still supporting our small and medium-sized companies in terms of access to capital. So what we do, we obviously, because we're a special division of the Department of Commerce, we have so many different strategic partnerships with banks and non-banks to push deals through, and we basically act as, brokers or facilitators in all different industries. We do financial education, we do facilitation of mergers and acquisitions, but really we're here to help small businesses grow. So all different types of financing, traditional, non-traditional. We work with banks, non-banks, asset-based lenders, receivable lenders, CDFIs, credit unions, VC funds, export credit agencies, you name it, we work with them. And so we have a unique opportunity right now with the agriculture. Now, I've been in banking, probably more than 30 years. I've got significant government loan experience with International and Exim Bank. At SBA, I've done venture capital investment and also worked a lot with minority businesses. And I can tell you that there's a huge opportunity here in agriculture. And then we know that, there's a great chance to help our black and brown farmers. And, we've all been severely impacted by the COVID, but especially the folks that work in this industry, and especially like the migrant workers, because really they're on the front line. They really, need to be protected, but some of them can't afford the luxury to stay home and telework. They have to go to work. So that all ties into food safety and, part of the discussion that we had yesterday. But anyways, in terms of partners and financing, so on the domestic side, in terms of government, the real players would be USDA. There's the Credit Commodity Corporation. USDA, RUS, basically, they've got a lot of different, farm loan programs for farmers, ranchers, livestock insurance, marketing grants, specialty block grant programs, farmers market promotions, and organic cost shares. And the GSM 102 That's the one that pretty much deals with export credit guarantees. And as of right now, you can see this is a really untapped program. As of right now, as of yesterday, there was $2.5 billion allocated for credit guarantees of bulk agricultures. And as of today, 2.3 of that was available. A lot of that was going to Latin America. Now, in terms of the international partners, we deal with Exim Bank. They provide export credit insurance for bulk agriculture. They also provide financing for agricultural-related equipment. So, agriculture or agriculture-related projects, there's an opportunity to finance those as well. We have OPIC, or the former OPIC, Overseas Private Investment Corporation, which is now the International Development Finance Corp. They can add some financing that Exim Bank does, especially when it comes to joint ventures. If an American company wanted to do a joint venture, maybe one of these farming agricultures wanted to do something in the Caribbean or Africa, OPIC could put in some money and push the project forward. TDA, Trade Development Agency, does feasibility studies. That's a good source to find out, basically, give you a gauge on your project there. Also, USAID has procurement opportunities a lot for agriculture, bulk ag, different things like that. And then there's the UN and World Bank and IMF. Now, those are just some of the a quick overview of the different financing partners, international and domestic. But in terms of what we're dealing with, we've got a great opportunity to tie in this, because we're tying in HBCUs, we're tying in opportunity zones. So perhaps zooming out, maybe the thing is to build a blueprint. And I'm thinking of one thing we have here in Washington, D.C. at the University of District of Columbia. We have the College of Agriculture, and under the College of Agriculture, they have these land grant centers, and where they're focused on centers for sustainable development and urban farming, urban agriculture, sustainability. And two things of interest at that university is that they have a greenhouse and they have an aquaponics system. So, aquaponics is, and the combo is just basically the combo of hydroponics, which is the plants and the nutrient-rich water, plus the fish. So that is a model to create economic self-sufficiency and building green jobs and community ownership. So just a thought there. But I think in terms of the next steps, is for NBDA, we have to figure out how to create a specialized credit facility for the growers, to figure out which growers are producing which crops, which ones are stronger, which ones need a little help, and try to figure something out. I was just thinking, PJ, just 2 weeks ago, the Foreign Agricultural Service Officer that we have connections with came to us and said, hey, we've got a bid for soybean. We need 5,000 metric tons per month. They didn't know who to go to. And so we have these 4 export centers around the country, on the West Coast, on the East Coast, Miami, Chicago, Texas, and California. So they deal with export related transactions, and time to time bulk ag comes up, and then maybe bulk ag related machinery. So there's a lot we can do. There's a lot that we can help out to do. So we just have to craft a plan. So I'm going to stop on that. I know I've talked about a lot, but I hope it's been insightful, and definitely open for any questions or further dialogue.
Well, thank you, Gene. Thank you very much. We'll come back to you with more with questions after we have our next speaker. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Haney, please. Haney Farms. Hello.
Okay, sorry about that. It was on mute. Thank you. How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you, and welcome for being with us today.
Thank you.
I come from farmers too, so I look forward to your presentation.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Excuse background noise in my cockpit here. We are in the middle of harvest right now, so soybean harvest is underway. JR, I appreciated your comments. I enjoyed them, and looking forward to more exchange, how we can dive a little deeper in this conversation on how do we look to get the products that Black and brown farmers grow and raise to more involved in our federal sector as well as the public. I just did a little quick math on your comment that you made about the Foreign Ag Service, the RF request that came out. And to get that many metric tons, it takes about 5,000 acres of soybean to quantify that for that order. So just if I could a little bit, as Black farmers are spread out across the country, sparse as we are in the various states and where we're located, we deliver to a close geographic footprint where we don't have far to truck it. Our trucks can get to the elevator to sell that grain and then get back to the field as we're harvesting like I am today. So when we look at those larger opportunities, we say, okay, well, if I'm selling to a local grain elevator in town, how does that grain convert to get to a vessel somewhere to get overseas? And that's where we really have to get strategic and put some thought into, because it requires a lot of infrastructure. And I think that's the area where we need some more capital. I'm looking forward to exchanging with you ideas and how do we direct to get some of this capital that is available to Black and brown farmers so they can add more value to what they do. The old cliche says, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got. So we want to add more value to what we're doing. How do I get the cotton that I raise to the T-shirts so we can have room to grow? A lot of us farmers are third, fourth, fifth generation growers. And we value land and the resources that we have because we want opportunity for our children and grandchildren and family to come back to have the independence of working the land that their family worked so hard to buy and to get. And that in itself creates its own challenge, having capital to grow. You talked about USDA and loans and things like that. A lot of farmers consider the USDA as the last plantation, to be able to, farmers are still dealing with the discrimination as they face when they go in to apply for loans at the local level. And, unlike many federal agencies, USDA is a little bit different. It has a presence in every county, throughout every state, through the entire country. So farmers like myself go to the local county office. We report our acres of corn or soybeans or wheat. The local county office reports to the state office. The state reports to Washington, D.C., to the national office. And projections are done for supply, demand, how many acres of corn we're going to have, how many head of hog we got on feed. That helps to create the whole geographic picture. Well, these local county offices are still run by, as some farmers say, the good old boys who've been there all the time. These county offices make the decisions and control what farmers get loans to buy farms, buy equipment, and who farmers don't. So, when we can get everybody on the same page there, and we know that the past disparities have taken that opportunity away from Black farmers and landowners, and we can reverse this thing to look up and say, how do we get more opportunity? We think there's a lot of potential there. So I'll yield, and I thank you for the invitation here.
Well, thank you very much. It's interesting, what you said. In many areas, farming is for minorities is still run the same way as by the good old boys that are still keeping regulation. But let me bring us back first to NBDA and the fact of access to capital. And we're going to start with the international side, because that's, Mr. Haney, where you went on what it would take to produce the products that was mentioned. In many instances, minority farmers have not had the opportunity to export. Like everything else in America, the majority of exports is done by the bigger companies, and we never participate as much in that arena, to the point of less than 5%. So bringing back to you, Gene Robert.
Yes.
Robert, am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's fine. JR is my nickname. That's fine. We make it easy for you.
Okay, JR is even better. JR, thank you very much.
No problem.
You have all these banks. They have all these opportunities for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
They do not all follow the same standard rules. Which would be the best place for a farmer, a minority farmer here, to start at if he or she is going to go overseas to work on a project?